Hello there everyone and welcome to RCR and welcome to Circuit Zandvoort. Here the circuit has hosted 33 races so far in Formula One's history, and can you believe that it's hosted that many races, making it 10th in all-time lists of circuits to have hosted F1 races, and it stopped in 1985 before coming back in 2021. Two DRS zones, it's got 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left. Two DRS zones aid with overtaking. Not enough players remaining to start the session. We've just been kicked out. Interesting. Never had that one before. Let's see if we can get ourselves back in. I don't think it's thinking it was just a connection to the... Yeah, there we go. Back in. Lap record here belongs to Lewis Hamilton at 1:11.097. He did that in his Mercedes W11 in 2021. Last year's race result here: Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc all shared a podium. Lando Norris going on to win that race by a whopping 22 seconds over his fellow, well, not his good friend Max Verstappen. There we go. Everything's all sorted now. I think we're having some issues with our connectivity by the looks of it. Great shame. Just see how it's going along. We're just going to keep on getting kicked out, aren't we? There are not enough players remaining to start the session. You will now be returned to the lobby. It's almost as if it's not taking into account the players in the session. Great shame. Let's see if restarting the game will do anything about that.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Let me know if the stream is lagging in any way. I don't think it should be. It's to me that we've got a good connection. Go. Don't need to see poorly drawn Daniel Ricciardo. No, it's not looking good. Definitely not looking good. What is going on? I'll do a speed test in a minute. Ah, dear, oh dear. I thought that was an invite. Don't get into it. Go in. Oh dear. We'll get there. We'll get there. Spectate. I'm assuming while we're at the beginning of the session, let's just hope that we actually do get this underway. As soon as we're at the beginning of the session, let's hope that we stay in it this time. Hope that we stay in it. Looks like we're staying in it. Okay, so Huffendelbach currently on the top spot with provisional pole. He's got a 109.255. Good time from him, and it's a massive 7/10 ahead of his teammates, and we have been kicked out again. I'm not sure if this is me or if this is Formula One, or if... Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Must be me. Let's do a speed test. Let's do a speed test. No harm in a speed test while we try to get all this underway. Speed test. On speed test. Okay, so currently pulling 140 megabits per second. 154 average megabits per second. And 100 upload. So we shouldn't be having these issues. Let's do a speed test on the Xbox itself. Troubleshoot. General, network settings, network speed and statistics. I'm on the 2.4 gigahertz connection. Good reason why, huh? Check in, check in, in. I'm very sorry. I'll try to get this underway as soon as possible. Okay, a little bit different on the wireless. 96 and 65. Still got all services available. To me, like, that shouldn't be an issue, should it? Give it one more go. Got a spectator. I wonder if I can't join, can I? About to say, I wonder if I join as a driver, but I think it will put me into a car. I have to join as a spectator. Until we actually get into the race, I have to join as a spectator. I'm wondering though if it does get to the point where we're going back and forth, if I join as a driver when they get into the race, then that should be good enough. Okay, so MLC Sands currently on the provisional pole spot. I do apologise for the technical difficulties we are having. I'm Mr. DJ CJ in third, Chris Tack is fourth, Sanchi fifth, and we've been kicked out again. I think that's it. I think nothing really much. Oh, tell you what I can do. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn off the Xbox. Be all better when I get it all running from a PC. That's good to see though. New driver, MLC Sands on provisional pole. If you are missing the race and you desperately want to watch, you can always go to I'm Mr. DJ CJ's channel. Just exactly that, I'm Mr. DJ CJ, all one word, on Twitch, and he'll be streaming his POV. You'll be able to see at least the qualifying from his point of view. He's currently, I think, fourth or third, what I saw. I'll disconnect my phone from the Wi-Fi as well, just to see if that's
EA Sports.
something that affects things. To be honest with you, though, the speeds that we've got should be more than sufficient to even over wireless. It's not like I'm streaming over the same connection. The stream is coming through a wide connection. Been abnormal anyway. We'll see. We'll see. Trying to think if I've changed anything since last week. Invite to lobby from Websy. Thank you, Websy. Appreciate that. With this time. Could be though that we don't get it because of the game ID being the same. It's taking its time to connect as well, which is worrying. Straight in there. Okay, Pogs on pole. Sands still near the top, but now has been demoted down to second. Hopefully this is it. I'm going to try and... I'm going to give away too much telemetry. So everyone will be on the softest compound tyre, dry weather, and knock on wood, it looks like we have a lobby underway. Okay, so start party. Okay, right, so let's get ourselves familiarised with the field and who's on laps and who isn't on a lap. Currently speaking, Huff and Dolbeck on an in lap by the looks of it. We'll keep on board with him just in case. Got a Red Bull also starting their lap. That's not a Red Bull, that is a Websy, who's done a 109.2 and put himself into second place. Next across the line is Huff and Dolbeck, who's starting another lap. So we'll stick with Huff as he goes round. And I've just realised that the stream isn't coming across. This is just getting even better, isn't it? Audio capture, game capture. We'll get there, guys. I promise you, we will get there. Here we go. We got there in the end. I am really, 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 really sorry about all the difficulty it took to get there. But either way, now we're here. We've still got plenty of qualifying time left. The order has been somewhat set so far. We know that Pog is the fastest man on the track at the moment. He's actually retired to the pit lane for now. Maybe back out later on. 6 minutes left in the session. Huff and Dolbeck belting his ass around the track as fast as he can to try and get a lap time in. And he's just gone too wide and into the wall he goes. He's misjudged that tremendously, and that means that he's not going to be able to set a time. He's going to come straight back into the pits, surely, and get on his way. CJ 6 tenths down on his time, so he's not setting a lap. BXTN at the moment in the Alpine, 6th place on the grid, starting just behind CJ. And is he on a lap at the moment? We'll surely find out in a few moments, as Chris Takis definitely not on a lap in that Williams. What did you come into? Loads of technical problems. Loads of technical problems we were having. But BX10 on a slow lap as well. We're trying to find drivers who aren't on slow laps. Could it be Ace? Could it be Ace? And Sands as well is coming out as well. So we'll go back to Sands, and FR Element has also started a lap just behind Sands. Chris Takis begins his lap as well. So, okay, we've now got a line on a few drivers that will be completing the lap. So, sticking with Ace then, in the Mercedes out front, ahead of the Ferrari, who's just gone off the track. Into the gravel he goes, and he's managed to save it. But unfortunately for him, that's his lap over. Yellow flag in Sector 2. And luckily for FR Element, Ace was not in the way when he was coming back onto the track there, driving back onto the track, and I don't think that's distracted FR Element too much from his lap. He's doing a 49.9 after the second sector, so lots of time to make up here for FR Element as he's coming round the penultimate corner just before turn 14, this banked corner that magnificently shoots the cars back out with DRS before we even get to the straight line. Crosses the line and he puts in a 1:11.651. Not good enough really for FR Element. And Chris Takis, I think, has abandoned his lap potentially. Don't think this is a fast lap. I think he'll actually, yeah, decides to come into the pits after that currently set down. And that is Joe Pellet out on a lap at the moment. Oh, and Sands as well. We'll go back to Sands, who has... Yeah, he's aborted his lap. I thought he did, but I just wanted to make sure. Currently down in 10th at the moment, Joe Pillar. Lots of pace in this driver. Do not mistake it. Joe Pillar definitely should be up towards the sharp end of the field. Maybe a little bit out of practice, especially on this game. But way back in the day, a few seasons ago, Joe Pillar at the forefront of the drivers. And the one to be now down in 10th. Unfamiliar territory for Joe Pillar, but he's done 2 tenths faster And he's done the fastest time in the second sector so far. So looking good for the McLaren driver as he comes round again, the penultimate corner and the final corner. Manages to pick up a little bit of oversteer there. Coming out, car a little bit unstable. And he manages to put in a 109.657. Misses out by, improves by 0.3, but only improves to 9th place on the grid. Owen then. Owen back for the first time this season. Did lots of races last season in RCR. This is his first race of season 6. He's doing ever so well at the moment. 10th up on his time. Fastest in the first sector. That's a good start from Owen at the moment. The Red Bull driver. No teammate here today. But looking absolutely on it nonetheless. Despite the fact that he was away for so long. And he's also done the fastest time in the second sector as well. 2/10 up on his current time. 4.259 kilometers of circuit, all neatly packed up into under a minute and 10 seconds. These cars get so fast around here. It's a 1 minute 9. It's a 1 minute 9.351 that Owen does as Joe Pella comes into the pit lane. Got 2 drivers coming out, and that's Pog, who's just started a lap now. Binary on an out lap in the Alpine. Oh, as Pog has lost the back end, and he will not be able. He may actually be able. He may be able to save this here. This could be his out lap. Those tyres, the rears, will be screaming at him at the moment. We've got Santry starting a lap there. Caution in sector 2. And this is it for Santry. CJ is well on track, not far behind. You've got a few drivers ahead of him, and this is where it's going to get crucial for those that are back markers, those that are starting their laps, they're on out laps, to stay out of the way of those that are on hot laps. And upcoming to, I think that is either BXTN or Chris Takis. Who is that? It is, I think, BXTN. No, not BXTN. Owen's retired from the session, so there's nothing more he can do. Moving over. Binary. So here we go then. Santry crosses the line or comes up to the line, and he's got in the bag a 1 minute 9.8. Puts him 10th. And where is the next driver? That's Simon's DJ. CJ up into second. Just misses out by a 100th of a second. And the other Haas now about to cross the line. Huff and Dorback's got buckets of pace. Can he capitalise here? Yes, he does. Beats I'm the Pog by a 10th of a second. Massive effort from him. That's Websy who crosses the line. Or Chris Takis, sorry, who crosses the line. And then we've got MLC who puts in a 1 minute 9.124. Goes on the front row with Huff and Dolbach. In the late stages here, Webbsy's going faster. Santry on an outlap still. Webbsy and David Kovalaki cross the line, and Webbsy does not improve. Probably slowed down by David Kovalaki, actually. And is that everybody who sets time? Yes, it is. And the biggest upset of them all, from competing for the win last week to 15th on the grid this week. Binary not able to set a time, left it too late, didn't get a banker lap in. I'm assuming that something has gone wrong along the way, and he is down in 15th place, and that is a very, very dramatic end to his season. Thank you very much for the follow, Damp Bones. Appreciate it ever so much. Like, more than anything, you can't even imagine. But this man right here puts it on pole. He's had a pole before. He's been threatening for the win. Is this the season that he does it? He's It's been increasing in pace. It used to be down season 3, season 4. Used to be down in the mid-pack, down in 7th to 11th to 13th. He has absolutely put in massive efforts to get this time in. And make no mistake, these drivers may not be pros, but they absolutely, they are at the sharp end of the semi-pros. They are ever, like, so fast. It's insane. Like, they get some of the times are in the top hundreds on most tracks. And that is a massive time, a 109 flat from Huff and Dolbach. Puts him on the front row. We'll go through the grid one more time again. So Huff and Dolbach, as I said, on the front row, gets pole position ahead of the new driver, MLC Sands, in the kick Sauber in second. Then I'm the Pog. I'm Mr. DJ CG on the second. Chris, in fact, we'll stop waffling on. We'll go through the order so then we can see it all. But we'll actually go through the grid when we actually get into session. So I'm not rushing through it. I was about to try and rush through all 15. And to be honest with you, I probably could have done it, but it wouldn't do any of those drivers justice. So we'll just wait for that to happen. Okay, then dry race. And if you're new here, if you're new to RCR, it's a 5-minute break now. We do have a 5-minute break between the qualifying and the race. That's just for the drivers to strategize and just have a quick break, really. Refresh themselves before they get into this race. They are usually an hour long. It's a 50% race, so we don't do the full distance, but it is 150 kilometers of circuit that they have to run. And yeah, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Why have I done that? That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that. There we go. So then Huff and Dolbach takes pole position, puts himself in his Haas on the front row. And if you're wondering, hang on a minute, that's a Haas. How's that on the front row? It's equal cars. So they may have the liveries and the looks, but they are all equal, or as equal as they possibly can be. Then MLC Sands second place. I'm the Pog, and I'm DJ CJ on the second row. Chris Takis and BXTN on the third. Williams and Alpine. Then Visa Cash App RB, or just RB for short. Websy, I'm DJ CJ's teammate, in 7th, followed by Owen in the Red Bull in 8th. V-Carbs, both of them ahead of the Red Bull. Owen will be disappointed with that nonetheless. Joe Peller and Santry round out the top 10 for the points-paying positions. Then we've got David Kovlacki, Cotton the Goblin, Ace, FR Element, and Binary. Biggest upset of all at the back of the grid for this race. I'm sure Binary, though, master of cutting through the field, will absolutely do that. And he's always the champion of last season. He's always in the right place at the right time, and I've no doubt they'll do the same again here today, permitting that he keeps out of the wars with the midfield drivers. First race here held in 1948. It's one of the few pre-Formula One Championship races, because Formula One World Championship actually started in 1950. John Bonnier recorded the only win, podium and pole position of his F1 career here at the Dutch Grand Prix in 1959. It was also the first of 17 wins and 11 pole positions for BRM. I tell you what, I'm usually quite knowledgeable, but I can't remember which team BRM actually turned into, if they turned into a team at all that's currently on the grid. Jim Clark, has led the most laps of any driver at Zandvoort, leading 370 laps. Max Verstappen moved up to second on the list in 2023, but he's still almost 200 laps behind Jim Clark. Jim Clark, a magnificent driver, and taken away from this world a bit too early for us to see what else he could do on an F1 circuit. Definitely up there with the likes of Fangio, Senna, and the rest of them. So Huff and Dolbach leads them away. This is currently the formation laps. The drivers go around, try to warm the tyres up as quickly as possible to ensure that they're nice and sticky when they get onto the grid and get enough pull away. So ones to watch from the start line. Well, we've got Binary, who's opting for something different because he's so far down, out of position in terms of Binary's pace. And then we've got a few drivers that have opted to go onto the soft tyres. So that's quite interesting. And the Pog, most importantly, on those soft tyres in third place. Can he capitalise and get himself in that front battle between Huffendorback and Sands into turn 1. Sands, a very unknown quantity here. He's a new driver. What will he be like in wheel-to-wheel combat? All the drivers, of course, are vetted and tested beforehand, but until you actually get them into the first race, you never know exactly what they're going to do. I'm Mr. DJ CJ, down in 4th place, was in the championship battle last year, needs to get himself back into that here. We're now on round 3 of 24, but it's 24 provisionally. So obviously we can scrap a few of those races off at the end. They go on into June, and the new Formula 1 game comes out in May. So nothing is guaranteed. We may only do 20 races instead of the full 24. So CJ down in 5th in the championship, 5th in the championship at the moment. Gosney Goblin unable to line his car up. It says he's disqualified, but he's actually just unable to line his car up in the grid slot, which means that he's been set back a little bit in his grid position. I'll give him a disadvantage off the race start. The FR element there as well, you see. There's also got a terrible camera angle for the race start. Hopefully it improves. Either way, it's lights out. Away we go. Ace gets a drive-through penalty for jumping the start early on. We do get a better camera angle. And Anderpog off the line with those soft tyres on has massively moved up the field ahead of Sands early on, who's been pushed back. And he's now side by side. We've got Owen retired from the session. What has happened? We've got a safety car early on in this race. Owen off into the distance. 10-second time penalty for BXTN with a severe collision with Chris Takis. BXTN is going to be absolutely fuming right now. Had a horrible race last week as well. And this is just the icing on the cake for BXTN. Tensions are rising between some of the drivers in RCR here and BXTN. And that 10-second time penalty must absolutely have him on the edge of his seat, livid at the moment. And we have no idea exactly what happened there that brought out the full course safety car. Owen with his first race in RCR this season out early on before we even get around the second corner. What a dramatic start that we've had to this race already. And MLC Sands is welcomed to RCR with a safety car on lap 1, which isn't customary, but my God. So let's see the big movers. We have up 4 places. Ace in the Mercedes. 3 places. FRL. We've got a couple drivers that are coming into the pits early on. Let's see if we've got anybody who's changing their front wings already. Any telltale signs of damage? There we go, front wing for Joe Pella. So Joe Pella obviously in the midst of that fight. The safety car, the Mercedes safety car this week, leading around. I'm the Pog, who has taken the lead of this race from Huffendorback just before we got that safety car. And that's very crucial for him. And I'm sure in the midst of it, they were side by side, weren't they, when the safety car came out? And I think Huffendorback had a chance to battle back, but that chance was squashed the moment that the yellow flags were raised, the double yellows, and then the safety car came out. Now it's leading them around for what will be 3 laps, usually. It's here that Max Verstappen gave the Netherlands their first home winner at the 2021 Dutch Grand Prix, the first Grand Prix that we run at this circuit since 1985. The nation became the 12th to have a home winner in Formula 1. It was the first time a new country joined that particular list since Fernando Alonso won his home race, for the first time at the 2006 Spanish Grand Prix. While we're doing a little bit of history, Coston the Goblin and BXTN have both come into the pits. BXTN, crucially for him, able to serve that 10-second time penalty. Bolted on some hard tyres as well. Very clever from BXTN there to get rid of that 10-second time penalty. Despite whether or not it was luck or whether or not it was his own fault. Very, very good presence of mind to take that decision. And he's just decided that, you know, going to bite the bullet, accept the fact that he's not it's not possible. Sometimes you've just got to bite the bullet and just accept, you know, it may not be fair, but we've got to move on from here. And that's exactly what he's done. I'm glad that he's kept a cool head and thought about the remaining 34, which will be 33 laps come the end of this one. And safety car in this lap, so we will be starting from lap 4. Offendorbach has it all to do. I'm the Pog. Started on those soft tyres, but now been taking 2 more laps into this race. Not had to do so much racing, as much racing as he would have expected to do on this tyre. So it's going to give him a bit more longevity into this race. So good advantage for Pog here. Put himself on pole, and it looks like he's about to pull the trigger, judging by the car's body language, and he has done. He has done exactly that. Offendorbach 5/10 behind. No DRS for the first lap after a safety car. And round they go, in they go. And somebody's dived into the pits. That's Ace who's dived into the pits after a safety car. Deep into the corner goes Offendorbach. MLC Sands all over the back of him. And I'm Mr. DJ CJ all over the back of the new driver like a rash. Offendorbach, no answer as of yet for Pog's pace. 4/10, 5/10 behind remaining at that mark at the moment. And CJ getting ever closer to the driver that he signed. Off the track, the pressure has got too much. Sands goes off the track and gets back on it in the safest manner possible, and that has got to be commended. But the pressure got to him, and he's missed his braking point. And 1 down for CJ's quest for the front of the field. And he knows he's got to start scoring points here if he wants to be in this championship fight like he was last season. Offendorbach currently in 9th place. Didn't race last week though. Last time he raced, he got 5th on the grid, and then 3rd place. Managed to get a podium. Race control, DRS enabled. So now those within a second of the driver ahead will now get DRS. They'll give them a slight advantage. Offendorbach has actually dropped outside of DRS, and that's crucial because he now will not have that protection. Normally what you get here, so you see the drivers behind CJ will actually manage to get DRS as well, and that'll kind of nullify the effect that this overtaking aid has. But unfortunately for Offendorbach, he's moved outside, managed to get back into it now. But he did move outside of that DRS, which means he's not going to get it. He's not going to have that defense against CJ, who's going to make short work, no doubt, of Offendorbach, and he's going to start moving backwards here. He's under threat, and CJ massively cutting that corner, but I think he's gotten away with that. That's actually 2 wheels off the line there. Nice job. You can always appreciate a good corner cut, and a good corner cut isn't one where you actually cut the corner. It's where you cut the corner and still stay on the track with some of your car. BXTN moving back through the field. I'm the Pog with the fastest lap of the race so far. Of course, it is the fastest lap of the race because he's the first one after the race starts to actually cross the line. Sands and Binary battling it out here. Sands showing pace and keeping Binary honest. BXTN in the mix here with Cottony Goblin. How much pace does the Alpine driver have? Let's watch these gaps as well. Just keep an eye on the left of your screen, because as we get round those cars, and then in the bottom right as well, I've got the track map up for you there. As Cottony Goblin has left the session. This is great news for BXTN. Terrible news for Cottony Goblin. Disconnect for Cottony Goblin. That's going to slow his car down slightly and allow BXTN to just clip through that. Ghost on through. Made short work of the Williams driver after the disconnect. Binary losing time to MLC Sands. Has actually fallen outside of DRS. Websy on the back of Chris Takis. This is the closest that anyone is to anyone at the moment. And here we go then. Websy, the RB driver, won the first race of the season, but the DRS train all too powerful. He was just a 10th behind come corner exit out of turn 14. But unfortunately for him, the DRS very powerful, as CJ has got past Huff and Doe back. They're setting off after I'm the Pog at the moment. Two tenths behind. Websy now looking at Chris Takis again. Cotton and Goblin on the heels of FR Element as well. We'll keep an eye on that battle. At the moment, it's these two battling it out for 4th place. 12 points towards the Drivers' Championship at stake, potentially more. Websy leading the Drivers' Championship by just 3 points over Binary. Good result here today for Websy. Could extend that lead even further. And that's exactly what he wants to do. But for the time being, nothing doing for Websy. It's Cottony Goblin now, an FR Element battling it out on the straight. Cottony Goblin manages to get ahead, but deep on the brakes goes FR Element, but he's not. Oh, that was a great defense from FR Element, but good wheel-to-wheel combat from the two of them there. These drivers, even at the back, showing some great wheel-to-wheel. Two teammates, MLC Sands and David Kovalaki. Kick Salbert, 7th and 8th. Who would have thought? David, very new. Well, not very new, but new to Formula One, especially sim racing. Has been showing great improvement since he started in RCR. He's been showing that he has pace. Goes for the defensive line though, does David, and Sands gets past his teammate, and I think that was more team tactics there rather than a clean-cut overtake. Websy's still struggling behind Chris Takis. Just watch that gap between first and second. It's come down from 1.3 to 1.2 seconds. And those behind that DRS train that CJ's got with him are praying that he has the pace to pull himself into touching distance with I'm the Pog, and it looks like he does. And here we go then. DRS around Mr. DJ CJ manages to break the mechanic of this game, in which when you're in the DRS, it's hard for you to lose it, but when you're out of it, it's hard for you to gain it. But CJ's managed to do that, and that offset between the medium tyre and the soft tyre, I believe, coming into play here, and the pace that CJ has been showing so far in this race, get himself up into second, has proven dividends and managed to get him in the mix here. Already 4/10. Look at the massive difference that DRS makes. Was sat there 1.2, 1.3 seconds behind. Now 4/10 behind in the space of just a few short corners and the DRS straight. Sands and Santry. Look at the short work that Sands is making here. And Santry under pressure from one kick Sauber. And now he's got to keep his eyes in his mirrors as well. And I think he's got to focus more on his mirrors now, because here comes David Kovalaki as well. The sweeping corners. Turn 7, 8, and then 9 into the hairpin almost of turn 10. Very long hairpin. It's actually quite difficult to get the power down here. And as I say that, Santry proves that exactly. Difficult to get the power down without the car losing a bit of stability. And a little luck has David Kovalaki, but decides better of it, or he thinks, or he doesn't actually manage to get it there. I think he's actually, with that little luck that he had, has put himself out of position. CJ's making moves up through the field. We've got a caution in sector 3. That's a yellow flag. That is Ace. Off the track, spun around. Getting back on his way again. Manages to do so. Good job from Ace to get himself back. It's a difficult corner to take. If you're not familiar with the game or not familiar with Formula 1 or, you know, a lot of these drivers have been playing game after game after game. So when you've got someone like Ace who, you know, gets on every so often, it's understandable how you lose the car there. Pog at the moment is a mixed ability league, is RCR, so got drivers at the very sharp end and drivers who are just getting to grips with it. Pog now on the defense, but I don't think any defense is going to do anything about that. Even if he did try to close the barn door there, the horse has already bolted, and there goes Huff and Dolbach as well on the inside of Pog. Does he have a defense? No, he doesn't. So Mr. DJ CJ takes the lead on the straight, and then Huff and Dolbach seizes the opportunity and takes second place from Pog as well. 2 places in the span of 1 corner. Massive job from Huff and Dolbach to get that, and commiserations to Pog, who got himself on the right tyre at the right time, then benefited from the safety car, but now he's starting to move back. These soft tyres starting to wear a bit, and he's got to hang in there. He's got no choice but to hang in there and get that one stop. And it's very possible, it's very likely, but he's going to suffer while he had the benefit early on of having more pace than the drivers around him who were on the medium tyre. And now he's going to have the pain as well. For Dolbach. Again, as I was saying at the start of this, he has been threatening for a win a very long time, and could this be it? Lap 13 of 36. We're getting close to halfway. 6 full laps away from it, though. Binary overtakes Joe Pella. That's 9th place for Binary. Joe Pella trying to battle it out, but can't do anything about that. Let's have a look through the field. Who is Websy? Must be getting frustrated here. Seen his teammate close in, overtake, execute the race that he has done so far. Got a sector 2 yellow flag. That's Haas. That's a Haas. That's Santry off the track. As I was saying about Websy, seeing his teammate cut through the field and then take first place away from Huff and Dolbach. It's got to be frustrating being stuck behind Chris Takis. But we all know he's no slouch. Has plenty of pace. And he's also got that DRS ahead of him that's allowing him to stay within, to stay safe from Websy's overtake. Binary and Joe Pella on that start-finish straight, and I think Binary here is going to find it difficult to lose Joe Pella. He may have had the pace to make the overtake, but now he doesn't have the DRS to defend against, and Joe Pella sticking with him. Speaking of sticking with him, Huff and Dolbach keeping CJ honest at the moment. Little lock-up from CJ as well, the RB. Starting to struggle maybe. CJ, of course, one of the few controller players, though. We do see lockups from him more often than not. I think that's just a symptom of being on the controller rather than the wheel. Less agency over the brake pedal. And I'm thinking Pog here is looking quite racy. 5 drivers all in competition for the win at the moment. They may be in a train, but like last week, anything can happen here. And MLC Sands has come into the pits. This is big. An early pit stop with the voice crack and everything. An early pit stop from Sands will activate all these drivers into considering stopping for hard tyres. All those on the medium will now consider going on to the hard, and the undercut won't be as powerful here due to the short circuit, but let's see what kind of pace Sands has in the tank. As I was saying before, 5 drivers all fighting, vying for the win. Bit of distance between Binary and those. About 11 seconds between him and Websy. Binary, of course, starting 15th, though. Benefiting a place from Owen's DNF early on. Shame for Owen, really. Into the pits comes Iron the Pog as well, so that has activated everyone into full gear. And Huff and Dolbach has managed to overtake CJ while I was watching MLC Sands outlap. So, it's David Kovalaki gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. 2 drivers are boxed. And this has got them all thinking now, hasn't it? This has got them all considering this. And surely they're going to box. Websy will not be able to box, though. That's critical, isn't it? Websy, he's got a teammate in the mix. Yellow flag in Sector 2, but it's gone away. Sure, all those that haven't stopped yet got very excited, and all those that had. The heart sank for a second. The yellow flag is gone. No threat of a safety car as of yet. Websy on the soft. CJ on the medium tyre. Cosson and Goblin having connection issues. Huff and Dolbach under pressure from CJ. What are they going to do, though? They're going to do nothing. Very interesting. I'm surprised that Websy didn't seize that opportunity there to pit before his teammate. But is Websy trying to take the medium to the end? Potentially a good strategy. Sands moving up through the field. BXTN now under pressure. Or now putting pressure on Pog, sorry. No, he's not. He's been put under pressure and been overtaken by Pog. I'll shut up. If I'm not going to look at the gaps, I may as well not talk about them like I'm not looking at them. We'll keep a better eye on that. Got the tyres on screen at the moment. Apologies if you can only see half of it. We're just making sure that we're all aware. 16 laps for Webbs here. The rest of the top 6. The top 6 all on used tyres. Then we've got Pog behind the first driver with a fresh set of tyres. Webbsy, the only one in that top 6 on the softs. Coston and Goblin's managed to get back in. And I didn't even notice that Webbsy was on these soft tyres. So an incredible job from him to stick with Chris Takis here on those soft tyres. I'm sure, though, that those soft tyres will be aching at the moment. They will be screaming right now due to the fact that Webbsy has been on them for 17 laps. 17 laps on the soft tyre. Binary's got Joe Pella for company. Alpine versus McLaren. Ace leaving the session after a DNF. He's come into the pit lane and retired the car. Can do no more and has decided that it's time to hang up the boots, hang up the gloves. Pull it. Wait for another day. Come back next week. Great exit there from Binary to keep Joe Pella over 4 tenths behind. And there we go then. Into the pits finally goes Webbsy. Slows down for the line. Massive. Last week potentially had a win on the cards. And then sped under the virtual safety car. Trying to do a bit of virtual safety car tricks, but it didn't pay off, and he actually managed to pick up a 10-second time penalty along with BXTN as well, and that put him out of position, out of place, and down in 5th at the end of the race. So Webbsy's boxed. I really did have a strong suspicion that all these drivers at the front would have boxed the moment there was a Pog slow then. Going on with Pog. I think he's just made a mistake and now he's trying to desperately keep BXTN behind, who's all over the back of him, but not really a place to overtake him. Pog's managed to pick you back up. Mistake from Pog maybe, or was it contact with another driver? Either way, he's now down into 6th. And being lapped at the moment, FR Element lapped by Mr. DJ CJ. And CJ, Huffendorback, Chris Takis all remaining out. Binary as well. Remains out. Webbsy medium to the end. But you know what? You know what Webbsy's just proved to all these drivers is that if he can go soft medium, why can't we go medium soft? And I'm assuming that is exactly what they're aiming for. Try to make these medium tyres last as long as they can, and then at the very end, bolt on some soft tyres and put in the laps. Webbsy needs to make these medium laps now on the fresh rubber count. Just think, when these lot all switch to soft tyres, which you know they are going to, Webbsy will probably come out ahead, so will Binary. As in the O then, so here we go. Mr. DJ CJ, the race leader, comes into the pits. Huffendorback has opted to stay out. I don't know if that's the right decision for Huffendorback. Maybe he's going to try and get one last lap over them. Offset a little bit, but that's massive. So does Chris Takis. So CJ boxes. And he's back out again. A little bit of a lag there. We get a lovely shot of the V-Carb pit crew. And there goes Webbsy around the outside of his teammate. He's managed to pull it off. Into the lead he goes. But CJ's on those soft tyres. And Webbsy will have no choice but to defend his heart out here. And I don't think he's going to do anything. Two teammates. Got a slow moving Ferrari. That's FR Element. Manages to pick it back up though. Every time they see a yellow flag, especially after they box, that's surely going to sink their heart a little bit. And CJ's all over the back of Webbsy now. And those soft tyres, they heat up so quickly. Webbsy slots in behind his teammate. Huffendorback and Chris Takis come into the pits. Binary stayed out. Surely this is now the time he comes in. Can't stay out much longer. Or is he just praying that a safety car comes out and then puts him wherever he lands? So then Webbsy and CJ. CJ the fastest in the 3rd sector. That's to be expected. They've come up to Binary now. And Binary will be doing everything to make that Alpine as wide as possible to hold them up before he comes into the pits to give him the best possible chance. The best possible chance of keeping a higher position if a safety car comes out. And that's exactly what he's doing. Goal hanging for a safety car. Massive efforts from Binary here. Started last place, now leading the race. He's not pitted yet though. And now, if he wants big points, he's got to have big ideas. He's on the inside line as well. Places the Alpine magnificently. But it's unfortunate that CJ has such a tyre advantage over Binary. It means that he's off into the distance now. 6, 7 tenths ahead of his teammate. Binary, the stop gap between the two of them. Into the pits goes FR Element. And he gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. And Binary has got DRS here and is managing to stick with CJ and hold up Websy at the same time. We're getting Websy here under pressure from those that boxed for the soft tyres. So with Websy unable to do anything, we're starting to see a train forming up behind Binary. Binary doing his best Fernando Alonso at Monaco impression. And this is fantastic. Websy will be livid right now, but fantastic from Binary. Just goal hanging, really. And this has cost Websy a place. Look at that. On the inside goes Huff and Dolbach. And Websy just doesn't have... I say that, he's gone onto the inside and looks like he's managed to do it this time. Binary tries to hold it on the inside, but there's no way you hold on to that. And it's just stupid to do so. And he's trying. He's managed to... He held on as long as he could, but lost the car there. And I think he... Once he got in the thick of it, I think he realised that that was just a foregone conclusion once Websy got onto the inside line. Huff and Dolbach goes past Websy. Chris Takis goes past Huff and Dolbach almost, but gets very close to the inside of that corner and manages to keep his car alive, keep his car in this race, but that was ever so close to being doomed for Chris Takis. How on earth he got himself out of that, I don't know, but that was ridiculous. An FR element, another 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but this time decides to retire. So we've got 3 drivers out of this race, 2 of them of their own accord, and then one of them early on. Fortunately for him, Owen, not Huff and Dolbach, Owen retiring early on from this race, not even after the second corner, crashed out. We won't know exactly what happened there because I didn't see it, but either he's lost it of his own accord, but I feel like more likely in the mix of lap 1 and crashed into. No, Joe Pella had damage. CJ at the moment 2.5 seconds ahead of Websy. Websy in 3rd place. Is on those medium tyres. Will he be able to come back later on into the race? We do not know. For the time being, he's got Chris Takis hunting him down. On the inside goes Chris. Websy trying to hold it. Does manage to hold it, but that extra grip from the soft tyre providing more traction for Chris, and that's everything, really. Nothing more Websy can do. He's just got to try exactly like Binary did. Just stick with these drivers in DRS. And if I'm a Binary now, I'd be considering to come into the pits and cut my losses and put on a masterclass on those soft tyres, because now you're just losing time waiting for a safety car. He's waiting. RCR races every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. There's normally not the normal shenanigans that we had before the race where we couldn't spectate. I think that was just a game issue though. 9:30 every week, Tuesday. If you're interested in joining as well, drop me a message on Twitch or YouTube. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Mixed Ability League. Got 2 slots left and we're only 3 rounds after this one into the season. Winner of the championship as well always gets a trophy, so some not little, they're usually like 20 30 centimeters, but some glassware for your mantelpiece. Looking right now at Chris Takis, who's just fallen outside of DRS to Huff and Dolbach. So this is going to, when you've got these DRS trains forming, when a driver falls out the DRS and he's got the train behind him, it's also unfortunate for the train as well, because now they're losing time behind, creating a bigger gap to the next driver because of the stop gap that has become, in this example, Chris Takis. So then, has Websy got the pace to come back? Yes, he does. On the inside, early on, in the straight, and into the corner he goes. Already ahead. Massive effort from Websy. And he sets back off after Huff and Dolbach. Were the softs the right tyre? Are we just seeing the effect of DRS here? Does Websy have the pace to recatch Huffendorback and CJ? CJ checked out a little bit. Huffendorback 4.5 tenths faster though. Over the course of time that we last visited, he was 2.5 seconds behind CJ. Now, just 1.9 seconds. The Huffendorback looking for that first ever win in RCR. And he's not let go hope just yet. And with this kind of pace, he will catch CJ. Unless CJ starts to pull it out a bit. Let's take a moment to thank everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. And again, streams every Tuesday. 9 PM, 9:30 PM UK time. Be happy to have you along for the watch. MLC Sands and Binary. Binary comes into the pits. Finally bolting on those soft tyres, and let's see what Binary can do. Massive pace. Truly, you know, he won the championship last season. I think he had 10 wins, if I remember correctly. 10 wins in the season, the most of anybody by a long shot as well. Brought home the championship. Relatively speaking, not officially, but brought home the championship. 3 races before the end officially. It was down to the final race. And I assume he's going to do an absolute stormer here. He's going to catch up to Joe Pello. He's going to catch up to David Kovalaki. At the moment, Chris was looking at potentially overtaking Websy, sticking in 3rd place, getting a podium. But at the moment, Websy's retaken that place. And he's now 5 tenths ahead of the Williams driver and pulling up. But he's defending. He's not 5 tenths ahead and then the DRS comes along and he loses it. He's 5 tenths ahead, flat out. But in his quest for his first ever win with absolutely blistering lap times, Huffendorback 1.6 seconds now behind Mr. DJ CJ and putting an almighty dent in Websy's efforts to get into that DRS of Huffendorback. What a very mixed up field we've got here. In fact, while we've got a little bit of time, we'll have a look to see position changes. There we go. CJ up 3 places. We've got a yellow flag, sector 2. I don't think that's gone away now. So 7 places up for Binary. 2 places up Joe Pello. 4 places up Websy. 1 place up Chris Takis. A few drivers moved Sands with 4 places lost in his first ever Grand Prix. For RCR. It's really good to see Huffendorback really hustle his Haas car at the moment, trying to get within a sniff of a win, and CJ will fight hard. They're both lower down than they would like to be in the championship so far. We've only done 2 races so far. Huffendorback on 15 points, CJ on 21. Websy leading at the moment with 36. Stands. He will hold on to that lead. Here we go then. 1.4 seconds between the two of them. Chris Takis trying to get within striking distance of Websy. Websy's doing everything though. Moving out of DRS. You saw him move to the dirty side of the track there to break the toe, to break the slipstream that Chris Takis has. Car's punching a hole in the for the car behind. Works great on straights. works terribly, as Binary says. So 1 minute 10.945. Great time from him. Off and door back. 1.5 seconds still. 1.3 seconds as I say that. But it is fluctuating, and Huff there with a little snap. A little tiny snap. That should put into 1.7. Is the pressure getting too much? 1.8, 1 point. Oof. Not looking good. And look down the field now. Down the field to Chris Takis, who is looking at the gearbox. Alf Websey at the moment, 6 tenths behind. Dirtied up those soft tyres as well. That's not going to do him any favours in terms of grip. Websey's pulling away slightly. 8 tenths between the two of them now. Binary and Joe Pella are also getting close to Sans. Binary is about to overtake Sans by the looks of it. Let's stick with let's stick with Chris for a second. Don't think 7 tenths is not going to be enough, is it, for the Williams driver to get past the RB driver? And no, it's not. But you can tell this is a game. With the Haas. Yeah, you can. As a Binary goes around the outside of him, we'll see Sans tries to stick it out, and actually Binary just clipping the front left of Sans there on entry, but that was an overtake that was always going to happen, and I don't think Binary intended to do that, and I think Sans would probably accept it. What do the pit stops look like? What do the pit stops look like, Slaz? Let's have a look. All having one stop. The mix of strategies, though. So we've had great mix of strategies, actually. I'll go take that off again. We've had CJ and Websey both starting on the medium. Huff and Dolbach on the medium as well. Binary started on the hard and made his way back up from the field through from 15th. Pog opted to go with the soft to start the race. But it got him into the lead, but then saw him swiftly move down the order. Been quite a few instances. Owen, unfortunately, got taken out of the race, or took himself out of the race, not sure. But before the second turn. Been eventful. And thankfully, we're on lap 34 or 36, so it'd be impossible for a safety car to happen now, no matter who crashes. So, all the way to the end we go. Huff and Dolbach was looking like he would catch his CJ, weren't he? From laps 29 to 33, I'd say. 32, I'd say. But now, that 1.5 seconds has plateaued there. At 1.5 seconds, Huff and Dolbach can do nothing more. Joe Peller and Sans battling it out. And Sans has got wing damage. He's picked up wing damage from that contact with Binary. So maybe Sans will raise that to the attention of the stewards. I'm not sure, though, how the stewards will look at that. Whether or not Sans is expected to back out there. The move was kind of complete. But I'm not sure. Like we need a different angle, basically. On stream, it looked very innocent. The last thing, BXTN. Gets past Santry, puts himself into the points. The last thing Binary needs is more more incidents. Can't seem to stay out of them. It's not like he's a dirty driver. If he just, I don't know. Lately, he's just not had much luck. But he did win a championship, so you know, swings and roundabouts. Okay, then we're beginning the last lap now. Chris Takis has stayed with Websy, but unfortunately for him, it looks like that's just not going to happen. Let's see if he's saved up some battery, because this will be the very last opportunity that he gets, the last real opportunity he gets, and he has saved some battery, and he manages to pull around the outside. Into turn one they go. Chris Takis takes away third place from Websy, takes a podium place on the last lap, and Websy will be dumbstruck with that. And he's going to have to try and fight back. Talk about waiting till the last minute. Been saving that for a massive amount of time. You could see it coming, but said it was the very last real opportunity. Can Websy utilise this half opportunity to get himself back ahead? We've got one more DRS zone to come here. It's going to be all the way to the line between these two. Chris and Websy. Websy moving to the inside line. He's wheel to wheel between the RB and the Williams. Deep into the corner goes Chris. What an amazing late braking display from the Williams driver. And I think that is everything that Websy can do. Here we go then. CJ, for the first time this season, crosses the line and wins the Dutch Grand Prix. Huff and Dahlbach has to wait yet again for his first win. Manages, though, to finish second spectacularly. Chris Takis, yet again, on the podium. Websy will have to settle for fourth by just 0.4 of a second. And the Pog started in third place. Manages to bring it home in fifth after this strategy just didn't work for him, really. He started on the soft tyre and it just didn't come true, didn't ring true for him. Binary with a massive, magnificent display of just pace, really, bringing himself back up to sixth. Damage control after starting 15th. We don't even know why Binary started 15th there. Just didn't get the timing. But why did he not get the timing? That'll have to be looked into. I'm sure the stewards will get something in respect to Binary. Or he just made a mistake. We didn't actually see it. But either way, Binary down in sixth place. Joe Peller in seventh. MLC Sands in eighth. We'll get the screen. We'll get we'll get the results page in a second. BXTN, after that horrible 10-second time penalty that it got for a collision under safety car conditions, brings it home ninth. And the season one champion, obviously for him, I'm going to just chuck myself into a party for a second. The season one champion, obviously, wanting to display, it's just not had much luck lately, has BXTN. So I'm sure, though, it will come back to him. So then we'll go through one more time. I know I got through about 9 of them, but we'll start again just for argument's sake. So CJ finishes the race, wins, and finishes ahead 1.3 seconds of Huff and Dahlbach. Magnificent strategy from them, going late, deep on those medium tyres, and then switching over to the softs. Websy as well, soft to medium. I don't think anyone thought of that until Websy switched. Either way, though, CJ then Huff and Dahlbach, Chris Takis, Websy, and the Pog Binary with a magnificent comeback through the field. Joe Peller, Sands, BXTN, and Santry. That's your top 10, your points finishers for this race. 1, 2, 10, Santry. Rounding out. Then David Kovalaki, Cottony Goblin, and FR Element. All, I think, no, FR Element didn't finish the race either. So 12 people finished the race. 3 of them, fortunately for them, have retired from the race. 3. Owen being the actual only real retirement from that race. I think we can do something a little bit different. I'm going to try and get the standings for you now. So if you just bear with me 2 seconds, I am going to do that. I'm going to get the standings. So normally we have to wait a week before we get the standings. I haven't even showed the standings from last week. So but we'll show the standings from last week. So this is how it looked. It will take me just a second to get that ready for you though. So just bear with me. think it'd be good though. It'd be good if we get the standings for this race. What a magnificent race! So that's that literally all the way to the end, and it kept us guessing, didn't it? Kept us all guessing all the way to the end. Can't see the screen, mate, just in case you don't know. Well, yeah, I'm assuming that message came in about 1 minute, 1 minute into the restart, and then well, not even 1 minute, where it's like more like 5 minutes before I said anything. Yeah, I figured it out. Thank God for that. It would have been very embarrassing if I continued to waffle on all the way through with no actual feed. Got the standings on the screen. I want to go back to see where the race results were. We'll get them. Be on our merry way. Gotta go to YouTube, watch my own stream. And then get the results from there. It shouldn't take 2 seconds though, because we've got friendly chat GPT to do a lot of the inputting. Yep. What do we think though? Is anyone wonder what happened to Owen, really? To be honest with you, I'm actually quite surprised that he didn't manage to make it through. Disappointing, really, because he's, like I said, it was his first race this season and he's lost it. Maybe we can see some highlights though, actually, as well. We can go back and watch those if it records it. I've not done that before. Chat GPT. Okay. Previous conversation. Tags. Back to the results page. I have to talk. Like, apologies for being old man on you, but I really do have to talk through it. Streaming, otherwise I feel like I'm just keeping people waiting with absolutely no context. Get that in. It never gets Pog's name right, so I get ChatGPT to look at the screenshot. I believe Sans as San at the moment. Case. There we go. That's the teams done. Finished. Who got the fastest lap? Fastest lap. Binary got the fastest lap, of course. Fill that in a minute. Put it there. Points. Go. And then it's condensed. Getting party invites now as well. We're nearly there. We're nearly there, people. In fact, I've got to do it my way. I'm sorry. I've got to do it the way that I was gonna just throw the screenshot up on the screen, but I can't do that to myself, so I've got to save the actual thing. Promise you, I'm nearly done. Like a minute away from getting the results. That's what we want to see, isn't it? We want to see the results. We don't want to wait until next week for me to tell you, and then maybe you didn't even watch the stream. Want to see, not the results, the standings. Okay then, so it switched over. That is the provisional standings now. So Websy has maintained the lead of the championship, but I'm Mr. DJ CJ has closed in by just 2 points. Binary in with a shot here, 6 points behind. Websy still that damage control doing massive help for him. And Websy obviously finishing 4th and Binary 6th. Massive job from him to manage to even stay within the top 3 is absolutely incredible. I'm the Pog. Down in 4th. Well, I say down, he's in 4th in the championship. Chris Takis as well. I'm just going through the top 10, really. Chris Takis, 33 points off and Dolbach. Opportunity for him there, but he's managed to pull up 15 points, and 18 points, and manages to get 33, and that he's now tied with Chris Takis. And I think that's just alphabetical that they are worked out there. So if they were done by position, I'm not sure which one would come out on top. Slazenger Volvo, 7th place. Slaz obviously not here this week, so he's at an incredible disadvantage to the drivers around him. BXTN 9th, BXTN 8th, David Kovalaki 9th, and Joe Pella in 10th. Then we've got the constructor standings. RB very much leading the championship. You can see there that because Websy and CJ are 1st and 2nd, well, obviously, RB are going to be 1st in the constructors championship. Then Alpine shortly following behind them, Williams, Haas, and Mercedes. That's just the top 5, and obviously you can see the rest of them on the screen. So then, the calendar. It'll have the track map there as well from this week, but we just raced Zandvoort. Next week, we'll be racing at Losail. So, Qatar, incredible track. It's more like it's a motorcycle circuit, but it's got some good racing on it. You get some good racing on the game. You don't really get some good racing in the actual Formula 1, but either way, should provide some excitement and some lots of DRS overtakes because of that massive DRS straight down the back straight. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I do stream other games, but this is the weekly RCR stream on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. My other streams consist of a whole mix of games, sometimes shooters, sometimes story games. I play on Thursdays and Fridays, 8:30 p.m. onwards. Thank you very much one more time for watching. Really appreciate all of you for your support and for the follow.